1, 2, 3, 4.
What's going on, everybody? It's Dot Bets. We're checking back in. We have the Masters on the dot breakdown for our PGA live stream. As always, I am joined with @Teaser Nation. How are we feeling tonight, Teaser?
Feeling good, man. I'm excited for this week. Watched the par 3 contest today. That was cool always. So
how many hole-in-ones were there? Like 2 or 3?
I think there was like 4. Seamus made
4.
2 in a row, and then
2 in a row. Wow.
Yeah, Scheffler made one. I think he dunked one, and then I think someone else made one.
I think Bubba hit one. I saw
Bubba hit one too. So
yeah.
So man, it's exciting stuff. So,
yeah, it's the Super Bowl of golf. It is the Masters. Every casual fan out there is absolutely tuning in to these 4 days. It might turn into 5 days with the weather that they're expecting. So we'll, as always, dive in. If this is your first time checking us out, we'll have our outrights, some placements, and then we will go after some DFS advice, kind of how to attack on that end, ownership-wise. But yeah, how about last week with the Corey Connors outright winner? That was nice to have.
Yeah, that was pretty easy for you. No sweat there Sunday, really.
Man, that was wild. I didn't know if he was going to end up doing it, and he ended up absolutely going through on the on Sunday. What do you have, like a 3-shot lead? And I was like, oh wow, I think we're actually going to do this, because Patrick Rogers was just like playing out of his mind. And I was like, okay, get the heck out of here. Let's have Corey Connors do his thing. And luckily he got it. We got Blake back with us. What's up, Blake? How we doing, man? He said Tiger Week. Whew, we'll get to that. We will get to that. And yeah, Blake was on Corey Connors with us. I went up to second in my one and done. I was in 7th, and now I'm in 2nd. So now it's double the points for my one and done for majors. So I'm probably going to take the more conservative route this week, and I'll let you guys know which one I'm going to take. It's one of my outrights. I'll tail. But before we get going, make sure you guys are tuning in on Twitter. Simply hit that retweet button. Would appreciate that as always. And if you guys are on YouTube or Twitch, hit that thumbs up, hit that follow button, and let's get after it this evening for the Masters breakdown. Teaser, go ahead with the. Let's talk about Augusta and what's it going to take to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everyone's pretty familiar with the course. I mean, it stays the same every year, obviously, but for the only major that does do that. But it's a long course, 7,500 yards, so it's really big. Par 72, bent grass greens, so it kind of favors like people who can't really putt. I mean, we kind of seen that with winners here before. I mean, just to give a couple examples, Hideki a couple years ago, Sergio, other people who play well here who don't putt well, Corey Connors, Cam Champ, Morikawa has a couple top 10s here. It also favors kind of guys who can, hit it far off the tee, so the bombers. Typically the guys who win here, they're elite. You kind of see the cream of the crop win here in form, and they can work the ball both directions. There's a lot of dog leg lefts here, so that's why you've seen a lot of lefties win here: Mickelson, Bubba, and Mike Weir. So, if you're a righty, that's a draw. If you're a lefty, that's a fade. It fits those eyes well. And then I guess just a little bit of hole breakdown. There's 4 par 5s. They're pretty gettable. The 9 of the 10 par 4s are over 450 yards, I believe, and 3 are over almost 500 yards. I think they pushed back Amen Corner this year, so 13, the par 5s longer, and 11 they did last year, the par 4, which is really long now.
They made 13 longer, so it doesn't so you won't be able to get there in 2 like you normally would. Yeah, which I like that a little bit, because that's what it typically ended up being, is like, all right, you got to hit those par 5s, you got to hit those par 5s. So I'm hoping that kind of equalizes the par 4 scoring a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I agree. I can see it both ways, because now it's like, I mean, guys like who who are short off the tee, I mean, they have no shot at getting there in 2, so they're kind of screwed. But yeah, for the Bombers, it'll be good. Just you can have like a 5-iron in instead of like an 8-iron for Rory or something like that. But the greens are firm and fast here. They're actually the widest fairways, or top 5 on tour widest fairways. So I mean, you can, but there is outline trees, down most fairways, so you got to keep it in the fairway. Difficult greens to read, like I said, it kind of favors bad putters. And then the one thing we're going to be looking at is the course history is massive here. That's like the one thing that stays consistent throughout time. Really, if you kind of look past 10 to 20 years, multiple top 10s here. If you name a couple guys, DJ, Rahm, Spieth, Cam Smith, Finau, Brooks, Xander, Connors, and Sungjae. So they're just guys who, have been good the past at least 5 years, maybe more. Then a couple more key stats that I'll kind of outline is the par 4 scoring and par 5s over 450 yards. Those are the main 2 I kind of ranked this week are those. And then obviously course history goes hand in hand with that as well. So yeah, that's kind of a breakdown of the course.
Yeah. And the infamous Augusta National, they mow the fairways towards the tees, so the ball doesn't get too much rollout. The elevations are out of this world. The TV, if you're watching on TV, like it does not do it any justice. I've never been there, but I could only imagine walking that course and being exhausted after probably a couple holes. But yeah, I'm emphasizing the Bombers this week for sure. Distance is going to be a very, very big deal to me with guys in my player pool. And with these softer conditions, I don't think that strokes around the green and you're putting it much like that. I think that goes a little bit out of the way. Usually that's a more of an emphasis because it's so firm and you have to be accurate. You have to hit the correct side of the green, make sure it rolls towards the hole. I don't know how with this weather. I'm going to go more towards the guys who can hit it longer off the tee and get some of their approach shots closer because of that distance. So that's where I'm having more of an angle this week than I normally would here at Augusta. I would be going over the Spieths. I mean, I know Morikawa. We'll talk about Morikawa, but those dart throwers, I still like them, and I still have a little bit of exposure for DFS, but not much maybe for my placements or outrights on their end. So speaking of that, want to get into your first outright, and then we'll just go back and forth on our outrights real quick.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let me go off. I'm kind of nervous for like the soft conditions this week, as you kind of mentioned. It's remember 2020 when DJ won, that's how it was like. It was just, it rained all 4 days. I don't know, it gets me a little nervous just because like the players last year kind of turns in just kind of a different, just not what you're expecting. So it's, I would say just be careful. Just don't kind of bet in volume this week. Just kind of narrow it down just in case it kind of gets screwed up and we get like a Monday finish. So, but I'm going to start out my card, the outrights. I don't know. I debated this. It's still kind of in the works right now. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I think I'm going to go start it with Rahm.
Ooh, there he is.
Yeah, I really wanted to go Scheffler, but you can't really do Scheffler where you can maybe get a live at some point on them day 1 or 2. Like they're going to have to be far back though. So it's tough, man, to bet those two. Rahm's at kind of a bettable number at 9-1. I got some books are 8-1. I guess I would still take that, but I think some are still 10-1 as well on him. So that would be good as well. But yeah, he's always high up in the model. The par 4 scoring's there. I mean, his course history is pretty crazy. Top 30, 6 out of 6 times, and 4 top 10s. So 4 out of 6 top 10s. I mean, it's Jon Rahm, so I don't really have to go too much into detail.
Right.
I kind of like him more at like a U.S. Open type venue, really just to finish it off. But I mean, he's a grinder when it comes to the majors. And I mean, personally, I think he's going to win like maybe 2 out of 4 of the majors this year. So hopefully this is one of them. But
yeah. And
then,
I'll go to mine real quick.
Yeah.
So there's 3 big guys. If you're playing DFS this week, if you've tuned into any show, you've gone to any model, you've probably seen Rory, Scheffler, and Rahm up at the top. That's just any model. If it doesn't spit out that, something's a little fishy. But so I'm again, this is a stream that we probably won't mention Scotty Scheffler much. It's not because we don't think he's going to win. There's just zero value to him this week.
He's probably going to repeat, honestly.
What I'm going with, so DK has a plus 300 odds surge. I'm using that on Rory this week. So instead of 7-1, I'm going to get 10-1. And I am hoping that he gets that first green jacket. So I think his game is there. I think it's ready to happen. I think the golf gods are going to let it happen. And I think Rory's going to go get it. I really had that hunch this week that Rory's finally going to take that next chapter to his game. So I would lean Rory. I would probably rank it Rory, Rahm, and then Scheffler if you guys are out there, looking for DFS advice for that. But man, Rory just checks all the boxes for me this week. I'm thinking about distance. I'm thinking about a lot of his putting's really good. His short game's elite as well. It's just that distance I think this week will carry him. Plus the course history, it's unbelievable. I mean, he had that missed cut 2 years ago. I'm not going to put too much emphasis on that. The guy's been playing her since like 2014. So I'll take a decade's worth of Augusta National experience and then use that odd surge, get to 10-1. And let's get Rory for this week. So I can't complain with if you pick Scheffler or Rahm, but I would suggest probably using that odd surge on one of those three if you're going to use that, just to get some type of value.
Yeah.
So who you got for the other outright? We got Blake says Rory was my thought too. Yep. And then the Grand Slam and the green jacket. Exactly. Yeah.
It's just it's really just a matter if he does it, Rory. Honestly, I feel like it's the pressure at this point just do it. So we'll see if he can finally get over the hump. But this is
they got second last year. Yeah.
Yeah, it was it was a backdoor second, but he had an unreal Sunday. It's like what he shoot a 62 where he holed out on 18 from that.
The classic JT right there.
Yeah, the classic JT. But no, this guy that I'm gonna talk about now he's my favorite of the week. It's kind of like a tradition I've done the past 4 years where I'm on him at the Masters. It's just I like to get my heart broken with him, and that's you already know who it is. You got him right there, and that's Xander.
I'm riding with you.
I mean, he's won twice last year, or I think 3 times, right? And I mean, he knows how to win now, kind of. I mean, he's gonna be there. This is one of my favorite. Like, if you kind of look at a person like Augusta National, he literally fits what you want to do here. He draws the ball. He's long off the tee. He hits fairways. He's a pretty good iron player. He's literally like he's made for this course, I think. So he has 3 top 20s here in 5 starts.
Yep.
Last 5 tournaments, what I kind of like to look at this week as well, just to kind of see his recent form. He's gaining 6 total strokes and 4 on approach. I think he played pretty well at match play. He was really good with his irons. They didn't have strokes gained there, but I think he got out of his group and he played pretty decent. The model has him at 6th. Once again, the par 4 scoring, he's usually pretty good, top 10 in that area. He's also first in eagles. If you could snag 1 or 2 of those at Augusta, that's going to go a long way. That's gaining 1 on the field on one of those par 5s. Yep. Just little things I look at with some gettable par 5s as well. So I really do love him this week. So
I'm that's my second outright as well. So I'm gonna go. I'm backing Xander, and there was an interview. ESPN did an interview with him before that match play, and he was saying how he's the older guy now, and a lot of these younger guys are competing with him again, and how he needs to like take that next step. And I thought him playing in that match play, and he played pretty dang well, and he was pretty elite.
Yep.
And he's like, in that interview, he's like, everything needs to be sharp for Augusta. Like his whole mindset is to be ready for this tournament. So is a lot of other people. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I think this is a little bit more of a chip on his shoulder here for Xander. Kind of in the same boat with Rory. Let's finally get that green jacket, finally win it. And yes, there's granted a little bit more pressure, but I think Rory and Xander check a lot of my boxes again. And I'm backing you here with the Xander outright. I got 25-1 or 20.
Yeah, I mean it's really a good number. It's a pretty good number how he plays here.
And I've seen it at 29. It came down, so people are attacking him.
Yeah, so I mean, I think he'll be there on the back nine on a Sunday. It's just a like he could potentially have 2 green jackets. He came in third in 21 when he went in the water on
Oh, yeah.
16,
Whew.
triple bogeyed, and then 2019 he came runner up. So it's just a matter of finishing. So I mean, it's obviously harder to do than just say, but I mean, if he keeps getting there, he's going to have to win it eventually. So
yeah. And quick question here from Blake. Not really a quick one because this is a topic we're going to get into. So the thoughts on the live players. I feel like it's Cam Smith out of the group.
We'll get to that.
Teaser is a great. He's all over Cam Smith this week. He'll let you guys know on that shortly. But yeah, we'll get to the live players. It is a very, very advantageous spot to attack for DFS. So we'll get to that shortly. But yeah, great question, Blake. And if anybody else has any additional questions, throw them in the chat. We'll throw them up here and get going from there. So let's round out our outrights real quick. Who you got for the third one?
Yeah, I'm going to do 4 this week. So
you got 4, okay.
The third I got is Morikawa. I got 28 on DraftKings. It's just another guy who's not really good around the greens, but he ends up playing well here the past 3 times. He has 2 top 20s in 3 starts. I think he came 5th last year, I believe. Had a good Sunday. It was kind of a backdoor top 10, but this, I don't know. This is the one guy where the soft conditions do scare me a little bit on him because he's not the longest hitter. This was the one guy where I didn't really want the soft conditions for because he's with soft conditions, he'll probably be around 280. He's going to have a lot of long irons in, which, I mean, is fine for Morikawa. He's an elite iron player, but I kind of want him in that 170. Hopefully he's in that 175 to 200 range with him because he's 6 right there in the model. So hopefully he's kind of leaving himself within that range. But overall, he's kind of somewhat trending. I think he's gaining almost 10, or he is gaining almost 10 strokes, both tee to green and approach his last 5 starts. And that's pretty massive to see. I mean, that's kind of the whole game besides putting. And like I said, I think Augusta kind of negates bad putters because they're really hard greens to read. So it's like if not, everyone's not going to be putting great on it. So
speaking of somebody that cannot putt, I see him high in the model here. What do you think of Willie Z?
Yeah, I mean,
I can't do it.
It's funny though because last year everyone was absolutely on this guy, and
they were on him so hard last year. Yeah,
I mean, I guess it's because he's coming off an illness and match play that he was getting over. He said he's coming off an injury. I mean, there's just too much like variables for me right now. I mean, he hasn't been playing really that great at all this year. Yeah, I mean, obviously he can't putt, but
I mean, 50 to 1 to win. I think last year, you remember last year, I mean, he was probably in the 20s.
I think, yeah, he was like 25 because 21 he came in second. Everyone's like, oh, he's going to win the Masters in 22. But yeah, he's like the forgotten guy this week. It's understandable though because there's too many variables, the sickness, the injuries. So I mean, I don't know. I'm staying away.
Blake's on the same wavelength here. He said, "Did you see one of Will's putt? That's the putt that just like, do you know that meme where it's like you're laying in bed and its wife's like, man, I bet she's thinking about women. It's like, no, I'm thinking about Willie Z's putt, and like that gives me nightmares.
It's a 2-footer, a two-footer.
Oh, it's so bad, so bad. So yeah, I can't do Willie Z this week. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out because that's golf in a year. You know, like people come and go with how well they're playing and whatnot. So you try to get the guys that are hot right now. I'll go to my last outright here. I'm gonna go the guy who's probably playing one of the hottest players that no one's really talking about, and that's Cam Young because he had such a bad start to the season. But his last several that he's played, that match play, he would have won 100% if they played stroke play instead of match play because he was hitting birdies left and right,
50 under. I mean,
it was unbelievable. I mean, he's down in the model, but he's driving distance third. His strokes to gain, fourth. I'm 100% on Cam Young this week. Like him at 35 to 1. So just a guy that's playing golf at the right time. And I'm going to double up. This is my double up of the week. So I know Xander is the cover boy, but Cam Young is the double up of the week because I couldn't get a good enough number on Xander's top 20. So I went Young plus 110 top 20, and then his outright at 35-1. So let's hope we get some action there from Cam Young and have a good week there. Who's the last one?
Man, Cam Young might be my fifth. I might have to sneak him on. I can't afford to. I mean, it's just another.
That's your boy. That's your boy.
Yeah, we'll be on top 20 with him. I'll be there with you on that. It's just a matter of he did so like the new caddy before match play, Webb Simpson's. It's like I know match play, like it was match play. I want to see it in stroke play, see if it carries over. You know what I mean? So it's just tough. We'll see if I put it on him. But anyways, the last one I'm going to do is the guy we kind of just touched on briefly is Cam Smith. I mean, DraftKings just laying a 35-1 on, for me, I think, I don't even want to say he's better than Rory or Rahm, but I mean, last year he was better than them, to be fair. But now he's probably not, obviously. But he was number 2 in the world last year. But he's an elite player. It's tough to know where these guys' games are at. I'm not following Liv too closely. I saw a couple of his finishes. He hasn't been great at all. But he's one of the best putters in the world when he was on the PGA Tour. If that thing gets hot this week, it could be over. Another variable, I was actually thinking to myself today that I haven't, like these guys who come from Liv, they play 3 days instead of 4. I wonder if that's going to be like you know what I mean? Like they're kind of not used to 4 days anymore. So that's one thing I was thinking about. But.
Yeah, let's just go right into the Liv talk here, because that was one of my thoughts that came in. But I mean, these guys have played golf their whole entire life. I think they'll be okay. And a lot of them have already played this course and are coming back. They're established players. You got DJ, you got Cam Smith, Phil's played here plenty of times. Patrick Reed has played here very, very well. I think Louis played well here. I mean, you've got a lot of guys that have course history from Liv Golf. I think they're more competitive than most because they want to show that they can still compete against these guys, even if they're not doing it on a regular weekly basis. So that's where I think there's an advantage because in DFS with their lower ownership, because if you get a guy like DJ that's got, he's been number 1 in the world. He's already won this tournament before, and you're getting him less than, I think 10 or 12% ownership right now. That's insane. So you're getting a very good discount there.
Took a lot out of me not to be on DJ and anything, man. That's my favorite. He's like my favorite player, but it's just, it's hard with him. He's just, I mean, I know he wants to like kill. I think for me, it's got to be just Cam Smith and DJ that I think play well. I'm not a big Brooks guy.
I was just going to go to Brooks because that's another guy that I forgot to mention, and he is getting hammered.
It's because he won last week. It's like cool, dude. Like he won like a shotgun start 3-day, like against shitty players. It's like a 40 man field. It's not that impressive, but yeah, he started at 80-1. Now he's like 30-1. I'm not going to take 30-1 on him. The Cam Smith went from 14 to 35. That's different. Yeah. 35 isn't a joke of a number on a guy like that. I'm not sure why it went from 20 to 35. It started 20 on Monday. And then just another thing to mention, he has 3 top 5s here and 6 starts, Cam Smith. So he's another guy that loves this course. But yeah, the Liv guys, I think you can maybe take a flyer. 2 flyers I like, Neiman and maybe Abe Answer at 110-1. I might throw like a few bucks on Answer at 110-1. Obviously, I don't think he's gonna win, but it's a good price. So
I've lost so much money on Answer. I'm so glad he went to Liv because he was one of those guys. I'm like, man, he could definitely do it this week and never did.
He was always in that value where it was like top 20 plus 160 range, 170, because he wasn't elite, but he wasn't like, he was on the cusp. So they had always put him there. So there's top 10. The top 40 market is horrendous this week. There's only 89 players that play in this tournament. About 70 or so, or 70 to 80 are kind of worth it, in my opinion, because you got past champions that are playing. You have some amateurs that are playing. So it's really a very, very small field. So if you're playing DFS, got to make sure you have 6 out of 6. Otherwise, you are not cashing whatsoever this week. So make sure to keep that in mind. But just overall,
there's not much value in the placement market for top 40. So I'm not going to have anything top 40. I'm going to give a couple in top 10, and I'm going to give you a couple in top 20. So you got anything? I think you got a top 30, don't you?
Yeah, go ahead with your top 10s. I don't have any top 10s. So
I just talked myself into this one on air, which is sometimes a good thing. But I'm going to do both guys here. DJ plus 210, top 10. And I'm going to go with Morikawa plus 210, top 10. So I'm going back to the well there. I wanted to take John Rahm, but it was minus 110, and that's not much value there for a top 10. So I laid off that. Maybe get a better live number if he has a bad first day or whatnot. But no, DJ is my favorite live player this week. I think that has potential to finish the highest. So go DJ, and then everything that you said about Morikawa. I know the distance is going to kind of hurt me to put him on my card, but man, his ball striking, his approach game, his putting around the green, I'm for it. And I almost wanted to go speed too, but I ended up not. I think I'm going to play a little bit more speed, maybe DFS wise, to get a little different on that end. But yeah, so DJ and Morikawa, and the one guy that is popping a lot in DFS, but I have not got to him yet on my card. What do you think about Sung J M this week?
Yeah, I was going to get to him in my top 20s, but I like him. He's good. Flying under the radar. He has good course history. But yeah, I mean, I'll talk about him right now. I got him plus 130, top 20 plus 130.
Top 20, nice.
Yeah, I mean the model. He's 11th, par 4 scoring. He's good. Par 4, 450 to 500. This is another guy. He doesn't really hit draws, but like he's really accurate off the tee. Like he's going to be putting in the fairway. He's somewhat around, like 290 off the tee. So it's not short or not like quite a bomber. But the course history, 2 top 10s and 3 starts. It does fit his eye. I think he's starting to find some form. Top 10 at the Players. I think he played decent at match play. I don't know if he played too well, but I don't think he got out of his groove. But yeah, he's definitely under a radar pick this week. So I like the plus 130 there. There's not too much value on the top 120, but
he's 20% and plus in DFS. So people know about him and are going to him because
I guess DFS they know. For betting wise, I haven't seen anyone.
Yeah, he's 8,100. So he's very cheap compared to a lot. And that sweet spot, I mean, you're usually in like that 75 to 8,500 range on DFS this week. And I mean, you get one of those two, or one of those could be the potential winner. Man, you could shoot up those leaderboards if you get one of those right. So because that alleviates some bankroll that you can go ahead and disperse, differently than most. Because a lot of people are going to jam in Rory, jam in Scotty, or jam in Rahm, one of those three or two of those three, and then kind of do the stars and scrubs. A little bit more balanced build, I think, is a little bit different. So yeah, but I'm with you here. Sometimes when I see a DFS guy over 20% owned or 15% owned that no one really is betting, that's when I just know he's gonna have a pretty good week, because everybody. I think DFS is a little bit sharper when you see the ownership wise than people taking golf bets, because there's no value to them in the betting markets, but there's a ton of value with this salary price.
No, yeah, that's definitely good to know. You got to tell me what these other guys are, so I see if they're a good play. No, we already talked about 2 of the other top 20s. I have Xander. I'm not going to talk too much more about him. Minus 110. I got that earlier in the week. I think he's 120 now. Still would take that regardless.
He's minus 120 currently.
Yep. So I mean, it's not that big of a difference, honestly, 110 to 120. But I talked about him. We talked about Cam Young. I got plus 120 early. I love grabbing him just for a little bit earlier in the week. So got him. I think he's 110 now, like you said. So it's not. I didn't beat the line too much, but I like to look on Mondays just to kind of see before they get kind of hammered. But I talked about Cam Young. Obviously, I don't know. We'll see about the outright. And then Sung Jae plus 130. And then a guy we haven't talked about yet, or we did briefly before in the show because you hit him last week, but Connor's at plus 150. Is he big on DFS or?
Yeah, he could potentially be the highest owned player this week. Okay. Because DraftKings just said, "Hey, we know you won last week, but we don't really care." So they gave him a $7,600 salary. So he's one of the best value plays. But I mean, if you're playing a GPP, like a high risk GPP, where you got to make sure you beat tens of thousands of people, if you have Corey Connors in your lineup, make sure you have a sub 5% guy in there with him. Otherwise, you're going to get duped, and you're not going to have too much of a difference or any leverage on the field there. But if you are going to play Corey, make sure. Or I've seen some people call him Coco, so I thought that was pretty cool. But I'm not going to call him Coco, but
No.
I should after what he did to me last week. So that's awesome. But no, I'm backing with you here with the top 20 with Connors. I'm going to go back to him. We talked about that all year long. Go back to the guys who are playing well.
Yep.
Boom. I'm going to go to Corey Connors top 20. His course history, man, teaser, tell him. You told me before the show, and I was like, holy cow.
I mean, he has 3 top 10s in his last 3 starts. So I think started in 2020, and then he's just gotten it was like a 10th, 7th, and a 5th. So, I mean, obviously he's coming in very confident after last week. You kind of like to see that. He's another guy accurate off the tee. We saw it last week. He didn't miss like any fairways. That's a course you needed to hit fairways at. Elite with the iron game. We all know that. And then really, like I talked about before, the putting's kind of negated here because they're such hard greens that like no one's going to be lighting up the greens this week. It's not a putt birdie fest. So he kind of keeps him in it with, good iron play and good off the tee game. So he's also good on par 4s as well. That's another thing that we looked at. So yeah, I mean, plus 150. It's really kind of the best value on the board. And then one more guy I wanted to touch on. I don't know if I'll add him yet, either top 10 or 20. His top 10's almost 5-1, and his top 20's plus 150, and that's Justin Rose. We talked about it before the show, but I don't know. It seems like I've done that thing where I took him like the past 3 years. He didn't really do much because course history. He's had a resurgence this year with a win, so it's not like he's playing bad golf. So it's not a bad play at this time because the past couple of years he wasn't great at all. So it's kind of just I'm giving a nod to course history. But this year you can kind of say he's coming in hot and playing good golf. So yeah, I don't know yet. We'll see. Maybe like half a unit on top 10, but we'll see. I don't know.
And he's just one of those guys that, again, he plays pretty damn well here. He's got some good course history.
Yeah. I would say FRL on him would probably be the best play, first round leader. I think he's done it like twice here where he just kind of went low the first day. And I think he's around, I don't remember the number, maybe 40-50-1 for FRL. I was thinking about playing a couple this week, but we'll see.
All right. So let's get into, so that was basically our outrights and our placements. I might have 1 or 2 more that I'll add. We'll tweet out our cards afterwards, our official cards. But I mean, I know we all know this is such a elite tournament, first major of the year. More than likely, you're going to have one of those elite players win this thing. But we're playing DFS. We know we need to have some type of sleeper. Who do you think someone that no one's really talking about, maybe are a little bit lower owned out there? You got anybody in mind? I got 2 that I want to share. Yeah,
I will say I've been good at these because last week I gave the guy who came in second, Sam Stevens. So that's
I'm so pissed I did not take that.
No, yeah, I just pulled it. I was just like, hey, he's playing well, why not? So if you paired Connors and Stevens, you're 100% winning. So
yes,
I would say sleepers on the Masters is probably even 50-1 or lower. I wouldn't even go 100, but.
And if you're playing DFS, it's like 10% or lower. I know my usual is 5, but it's a smaller field. Everything's condensed. Anything less than 10% is kind of sleeper status for DFS.
Yeah, so I know the guy you're going to say, so I won't say him. I'll let you talk about him because you mentioned it. But I mean, we'll say Justin Rose. That's not really a sleep. I doubt he's a sleeper. Is he? Not a probably.
I think he's 11%.
Okay,
Rose,
so he's close.
12. But 12. Yeah, he's right there.
I would say Neiman maybe.
Neiman, where's he at? Yep, he's right at 8%.
Okay, Neiman's 100%. He's a sleeper. He can definitely do some damage this week. Obviously, another live guy kind of makes me a little nervous, but another guy I kind of wanted to mention was, where is he at? I believe it was Tom Hoagie.
Oh yes, I like
don't know
him.
where he's at right now. He's like 130 to 1 or something, but yeah, he's in or 110 to 1 right now.
He's 110 to 1. He's got a 10% ownership for DFS. So again, I mean, he's 6,900, probably more than likely the reason for that that ownership, but you're getting a mispriced player, I think, there with the price.
Oh yeah, and this is the other guy. I didn't even see. I didn't know he was this low, 150 to 1. I don't know what it will be on DFS, but I did a top 30 on him, Chris Kirk.
Yep.
So I don't know if he'll be low or high, but I actually do have some invested in him this week. He hasn't played here since 2016. That's kind of when he was going through some stuff in his life. But
yeah,
I mean, he's been playing some great golf. I mean, if you think about his game, it should translate here. He hasn't played here in 7 years, but I think he's playing great golf. And then just quickly, 2 other guys from Live, Gooch and Answer. I don't know. You can it's whoever you like, but I kind of think of them, just pair them up. I don't really have a who's better. I think they kind of go hand in hand there. So
I'm gonna be so mad when I don't play Answer and he's up there.
But I love Answer, man. I don't know why. I love that dude. But he's short off the tee, which is a little scary if it gets a little. So he's actually gets a little soft out there. But let me see. Actually, where he ranks in the model. I'm curious to see what his proximity, where he ranks. Actually, he's 4th in proximity, 175 to 200. So he's another guy. It doesn't even matter with the mid irons. He's so elite that if he's far back, it really doesn't matter. So
I like it. All right, I ended up having 4. I have 2 before the stream. I just looked at 2 more, and I just can't believe it. So first and foremost, is Shane Lowry. I don't know how. I don't know why anybody doesn't want to play this guy. He's 8% owned. He is in that 75 to 8,500 range that I talked about. He's at 7,900 on DK. His course history is amazing. Since 2000, the last 3 starts, 25th, 21st, and 3rd. And I haven't heard a peep out of this guy. So, and he's not playing bad. And we're talking about a course, hard course, tough conditions with the weather. That screams Shane Lowry in my eyes. So I might end up putting him on my placement card, maybe a top 20 or so. But he is 100% getting, he's in my DFS pool. He's a fantastic sleeper this week. Shane Lowry, other guy who has not played here yet, but has been playing exceptionally well, especially at match play a couple of weeks ago, and has also won this year, Kurt Kitayama. So he's already shown that he can win and compete. He beat out Scheffler in that, I can't remember what the tournament was, but he beat him out, and he came back and he fought him off. So he knows that he can compete with all these guys. One thing that he does struggle with is off the tee. However, this is one of the most forgiving courses when it comes to forgiveness off the tee. You don't have to be incredibly accurate. So Kitayama, good sleeper pick. He's in that 5 to 6% range, and he's at 7.1 on DFS. And then this guy is nobody would shut up about this guy on the California side, right? And then all of a sudden we're just gonna forget about Max Homa. We're just gonna forget about him, right? What the heck are we doing here? He's 10% owned on DFS. 10%.
10% owned.
And he's at what are you at? 9,200. I guess he's a little bit more expensive, but it's Max Homa. Doesn't have the greatest course history, 2 missed cuts, and I think a top or a 45th or something like that. So
I think that's why, but yeah.
That's why. But still, this guy is elite. And he showed that he is an elite golfer. So I'm going to have a little bit more leverage on Homa. Another guy that I don't think has played here just yet because he's a young guy, Tom Kim. Another elite ball striker, going to go with him. He is currently 6% owned. So he's in the realm of, you got Cam Smith there, you got Tiger, you got Seamus, you got Chris Kirk, and I'm going to go with the young gun Tom Kim as a sleeper pick this week. So Kitayama, Lowry, Homa, and Tom Kim. Those are the guys probably sub 10% that I can see making a splash this weekend and hopefully getting up there in the top 10 and making some noise for us. You got anybody else that you might have thought that you just scrolled through?
I thought you were going to say, you said Minwoo Lee, right?
Oh, yeah. Damn. Thank you for reminding me. Yes, I even have him written down in my value.
Yeah, that was your play, man. I was waiting for it.
Minwoo Lee is another guy. I think he played here last year. He got a 40th or so. And he's shown he can complete this season for sure. Minwoo Lee is a guy. He is currently, but I think he's a little bit higher than the 10%. That's why I didn't. He's at 13%. So his odds to win, he's 60-1, and he's got some good value. So yeah, Minwoo Lee just did cut the under 10%. That's why I didn't probably talk about him there. But I do like some Lee this week for sure. But yeah. What
I want to mention two other guys. One guy I'm gonna fade completely. You guys can take the miscut on this guy, and that's Bryson.
What is that to miss the cut?
Yeah, I don't even probably minus at this point, but
I don't even know where you find it right now. There's all this stuff where it's like top senior, top debut, top lefty. I mean, that's cool to see, but I'm probably not gonna do much of that. To make miss cut, let's see, to miss the cut, Bryson plus 125. That's
I like
to miss
that.
the cut.
He's 100% missing the cut. I mean,
wow.
I used to like him. I don't like him anymore, but
100% right there. You heard it here first.
His game doesn't fit here. And then the one guy on the other side, I don't have like the balls to play him because he might be the most inconsistent player on tour, but it's Cam Champ.
He loves this course.
He does. It's weird. He has a 10th last year, a 26th in 2021, and a 19th in 2020.
Yeah.
The dude
doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. The only thing you can say is he bombs it, so maybe that's why. But I don't know. It's weird. I mean, if you have kind of the guts to take like I think his top 20 is like 5-1, 6-1, which is kind of insane.
Yeah.
With the course history. If you want to take a flyer on that, I don't. When I look at top 20s, I want to see the consistency, and it's not there for that guy. If you want to take like kind of a flyer on him for like half a unit, wouldn't be mad about that. So
yeah. And Blake says answer is sponsored by the company I work for. I still believe, as well as Kirk. So that means they're winning 1 and 2. You guys are gonna make me put answer in my player pool, and that's gonna make me sick. All right. Well. That does, unless you got anything else. I think we've covered a bunch of outrights. We got some DFS sleepers. If anybody else has any additional questions, hit us up in the Discord. It's in the link below. So let's get after it. It's the Masters. It's golf Super Bowl. Ready to get going. Wake up tomorrow and watch golf all day instead of work. So let's do that. So on that note, we will get up on out of here, and we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll be back next week. See you guys.